Cap is worthy. Fans had a feeling this one was coming. Back in Age of Ultron, Steve barely nudged Mjolnir, and that tiny moment turned into a theory avalanche. People swore he could lift it, but chose not to, maybe out of humility or not wanting to embarrass Thor. Fast forward to Endgame, and the theory turned solid when Cap didn't just lift the hammer, he threw lightning, smacked Thanos around, and fused Mjolnir with his shield like it was built for him. Turns out, creators confirmed he was always worthy. That Ultron scene, totally intentional. They said he didn't want to upstage Thor, which honestly feels very on brand. This changed everything. The moment cemented the idea that worthiness isn't about strength. Cap's character, leadership, and moral clarity made the hammer respond. That scene also cracked open the door for others to lift it in the future. So now Mjolnir represents a mirror for the MCU's deepest values, the quantum realm. Fans guessed it could be the MCU's cheat code for time travel, and that turned out to be right. Before Endgame, the realm was just a trippy subatomic zone with weird rules and no clear purpose. Then theories exploded after Ant-Man and the Wasp teased something deeper. People thought it might let characters jump through time or escape from events like the Snap. Endgame made the quantum realm the main road for the Avengers' time heist. Scott Lang's 5-hour trip lasting 5 years outside was a huge clue early in the film. Tony and Bruce built tech to navigate it, and suddenly the Avengers were bouncing through timelines like it was a science fair. They hit New York, Asgard, Vormir, and even 1970. And when they messed with the past, it made alternate timelines. That twist set up the entire multiverse mess that's still unfolding. Now, the quantum realm is the key to rewinding, rerouting, and reimagining the MCU's future. By the way, if you guys like movie content like this, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyways, the Spider-Man return. Fans predicted it, begged for it, then lost their minds when it actually happened in No Way Home. The return of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield changed the game by making the multiverse more than a gimmick. It became a tool the MCU can use anytime they want to bend timelines and pull from past legacies. Now the rumors are circling again. Tobey's supposedly suited up for Avengers Doomsday, and insiders say it might not just be a cameo. Andrew keeps denying everything like it's a state secret, but that only adds fuel. Tom Holland's back in Brand New Day in 2026, but the whispers say that could just be the start. If all three return, it sets the stage for a wild multiverse brawl in Secret Wars. It's already canon that they exist in the same multiverse. That's enough for theories to explode, whether it's a brief swing by or a full arc. Their returns shaping the entire direction of the next MCU phase. Stan Lee is a watcher. For years, fans thought his cameos weren't just cute throwaways. The guy showed up as a bartender, a FedEx guy, and a bus driver, all in wildly different places and never aged. That kicked off the theory that he was more than just a guy with a mustache and a clipboard. People guessed he might be a watcher, or at least connected to them. Then, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 dropped, and boom. There he was, chatting it up with actual watchers. Marvel confirmed it. Stan wasn't a watcher himself, but a watcher informant. That title matters. He doesn't have cosmic powers or infinite knowledge, but he reports what he sees. Director James Gunn even said they added it as a nod to fans, so his cameos became something more. A sly in-universe link. Not a god, not immortal, but still part of Marvel's cosmic machinery. It gave every past appearance new meaning. The old man was on assignment. Spider-Man's debut. Fans were begging for it, and when it happened, it came swinging out of nowhere, right into the middle of Civil War. Before that, Spider-Man had only existed in film thanks to other studios. Marvel didn't have the rights, so Peter Parker had been living in a cinematic parallel universe. But by 2015, Marvel struck a deal, and suddenly, he was cleared to enter the MCU. Tom Holland made his debut in 2016's Civil War, webbing up Falcon and Winter Soldier like it was just another school night. He wasn't just a cameo either. He was part of the fight. Then came Homecoming in 2017, and despite the original 8 years later confusion, the official timeline retconned it to fall 2016. No multiverse tricks, no legacy handoffs, just Peter Parker, rebooted and fully slotted into MCU continuity. That intro was a crossover dropkick that tied Spider-Man's story to Iron Man, the Avengers, and everything after. Sam becomes Captain America. After Endgame, Steve Rogers hands Sam Wilson the shield, but Sam doesn't jump into the role. He hesitates, unsure if he should carry a symbol so loaded with legacy. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier digs into that struggle. Sam gives up the shield, the government gives it to John Walker, and that goes poorly. When Walker taints the title, Sam steps up. He trains, repairs the wings, embraces the responsibility, and reclaims the shield, not as a copy of Steve, but as his own version of Captain America. He doesn't have a serum boost, just grit and clarity. His full debut as Cap happens in Brave New World, making it official. The torch is passed. The MCU keeps some comic roots, but makes it more personal, more grounded. Sam's journey turns the shield from a relic into a challenge, one he accepts claps with both hands. Now, Captain America's not just a name, it's a choice. Planet Hulk. In the comics, it's a massive arc where Hulk's exiled, crash lands on Sakaar, becomes a gladiator, leads a revolution, rules a planet, finds love, loses everything, then heads to Earth with fire in his soul. In the MCU, we got a trimmed version. Thor Ragnarok gave us Hulk on Sakaar, fighting in a coliseum, living like a space celebrity. No ruling, no tragedy, no warbound. Just a champion who bailed with Thor before any serious fallout. Fans were sure we'd get the full arc after Age of Ultron teased Hulk flying off alone. Instead, the MCU used Planet Hulk like seasoning, not the main dish. We never saw the ship explosion, no queen, no dead child, no rage-fueled return to Earth. Still, by leaving out the heavy parts, Marvel kept Hulk available for team-ups and comedy, but the story's not off the table. The full saga is still unadapted, so if they ever want to go cosmic and tragic, Planet Hulk's waiting, half-used, and full of potential. Peter Parker is the kid in Iron Man 2. At first, that scene was just a fun moment. A kid in an Iron Man mask trying to stand up to a killer drone at the Stark Expo, but after Spider-Man officially joined the MCU years later, everything changed. Fans dug up that clip and started pushing a theory. That brave little kid was actually Peter Parker. Tom Holland later confirmed it, and Marvel backed it. So now that blink and you miss it moment from 2010 is officially Peter's earliest MCU appearance. He's not Spider-Man yet, just a gutsy kid with a helmet and bad timing. It doesn't rewrite his origin, but it does give his bond with Tony Stark a retroactive boost. Iron Man saved Peter years before they even met. No powers, no suit, just a scared kid in the crossfire. Now that tiny cameo links two huge characters and makes the universe feel more connected than ever. Red Skull survives. Everyone doubted the legitimacy of his death after the first Avenger, when he was vaporized by the Tesseract in a blinding flash. It turns out he wasn't dead, only relocated. Infinity War reveals he was teleported across space to Vormir, cursed to become the Stonekeeper, guiding others to the Soul Stone, but unable to claim it himself. He's not leading Hydra anymore. He's floating around in a spooky cloak, speaking in riddles to people who want the stone. Fans speculated for years that maybe the Tesseract didn't kill him, and they were right. But this was cosmic punishment. The MCU confirmed he's still alive, just trapped and hollow, no longer the raging fascist from World War II. Nobody knows what happened to him after the Soul Stone was taken. Marvel hasn't brought him back, and his fate's a mystery. So yes, Red Skull survived, but he didn't win. He's a ghost of his old self, exiled on a dead planet, watching others chase power he'll never hold. The Netflix shows are canon. For years, fans argued about whether Daredevil and the rest were MCU canon or just some parallel side project. Now, it's settled. In 2024, Marvel's streaming boss confirmed the Netflix lineup is officially part of the MCU's sacred timeline. Disney Plus even added them to the chronological watch order, so that's it, they're in. Daredevil Born Again picks up threads directly from the old shows, and Kingpin's return makes it clear those stories still matter. This means the events from those series happened in the same universe as the Avengers. It doesn't guarantee every character will be used again, but they're available to be pulled in. It also doesn't mean contradictions won't be smoothed over or ignored, but the canon stamp is real. That opens the door for darker, street-level stories to blend with cosmic mayhem. It finally connects gritty Hell's Kitchen with the rest of the MCU. The debate's over. King Thor. It almost happened. In Thor Ragnarok, the setup was perfect. Odin dies, Hela shows up to torch the Nine Realms, and Thor's left to clean up the wreckage. Fans were sure this was his moment, the reluctant son finally stepping into the crown, becoming king of Asgard. And for a minute, that's exactly where it looked like it was going. He even got the title by the end, crowned on the refugee ship, eye patch and all. It was the clearest MCU nod to King Thor yet, but then it unraveled. By Endgame, Thor's grieving, broken, and binging beer with Korg. He ditches the crown entirely, handing New Asgard to Valkyrie and walking off to find himself. The King Thor arc never really landed. In the comics, King Thor is the aged god at the end of time, ruling over stars and silence, not riding shotgun with the Guardians. So while the MCU flirted with it, gave us glimpses, and let the word king hang in the air, it stopped just short of showing Thor become that mythic cosmic ruler. The Hulk wears the Hulkbuster suit, sort of, but not the way fans imagined. In Infinity War, it's Bruce Banner inside the Hulkbuster, not Hulk. After getting flattened by Thanos, Hulk straight up refuses to come out again, leaving Banner stuck without his usual backup. So Bruce suits up in the Hulkbuster armor, the same tech Tony designed to fight Hulk, and crashes into battle in Wakanda. It's a bizarre reversal. Instead of using the suit against Hulk, Bruce uses it because Hulk won't show up. Throughout the fight, Banner literally argues with Hulk from inside the suit, trying to trigger a transformation mid-battle. Hulk roars back a few times but keeps retreating. Banner even even yells when the transformation fizzles mid-fight and powers through in the suit alone. It's Banner desperately trying to get Hulk to take the wheel. So the idea of Hulk piloting Hulkbuster stays fiction. What's real is Bruce, locked in a metal shell, shouting at the Hulk in public like a guy arguing with his reflection. Tony Stark's death. Fans expected someone big to go, but that didn't make it any easier when Tony snapped his fingers and paid the price. In Endgame, he used his own nanotech suit to wield the Infinity Stones, wiping out Thanos and his entire army. But the radiation destroyed his body, and he died right there, surrounded by the people who owed him everything. No mysterious exits, no post-credit teases, just a funeral and a silence that echoed across the next phase. The writers made it clear, no resurrection, no clones, no easy outs. This was the end of the line. His death happened in 2023, and as of 2025, it's still untouched. His legacy lives on through tech, proteges, and emotional fallout, but Tony himself is gone. That loss shaped everything that came after, raising the stakes, shifting the tone, and making every new hero step up. No takebacks, just consequences. Doctor Doom appears in Fantastic Four. The theory finally paid off in the mid-credits scene of Fantastic Four First Steps, when a cloaked figure knelt before Franklin Richards holding Doom's iconic mask. That was Doom. The director confirmed it, and just like that, the MCU officially folded him into canon. No face reveal, but no ambiguity either. The scene showed he's got plans, and he's coming back in Avengers Doomsday. This means Doom's already being positioned as a serious presence, not a background threat. It immediately links the Fantastic Four to the bigger MCU narrative and opens doors to all sorts of crossover chaos. Doom's mix of sorcery, tech, and dictator energy gives the MCU a villain that's strategic, mystical, and dangerous without needing aliens or timelines to stir things up. His future motives are unclear, but this setup promises more than fan service. It's laying the groundwork for bigger problems, real ones. Hawkeye becomes Ronin. After the snap wiped out his family, Clint Barton dropped the bow and turned into something else entirely. In Endgame, he resurfaces in a black suit, armed with a katana, cutting through cartels and mobs without mercy. The word Ronin never gets said, but the look, the fighting style, and the motive scream it. Clint's grief turned into rage, and he decided criminals didn't deserve the second chance they got. It's a sharp turn from Avengers hero to underground executioner. This Ronin phase was short but brutal. When Natasha finds him in Japan, he's knee-deep in blood and bitterness and barely ready to rejoin the team. But he does, dropping the blade and picking up the mission. The identity doesn't vanish, though. It lingers. In the Hawkeye series, Ronin's past haunts him, with enemies resurfacing and consequences catching up. It's not just a phase, it's part of Clint's legacy now. And the MCU keeps reminding us. Wanda is the villain. Her path starts in Age of Ultron, where she fights the Avengers, then pivots to the hero team. But grief catches up fast. In WandaVision, she traps a whole town in a fake reality to live out a sitcom fantasy with a recreated vision and conjured children. The people of Westview are puppets, aware and suffering, and she keeps it going anyway. When the illusion breaks, she walks away, but not before leaving some serious psychological damage behind. Then, in Multiverse of Madness, she's fully unleashed. Obsessed with reclaiming her kids from another reality, she hunts a teenager, kills heroes, and warps the multiverse. Her actions are cruel, deliberate, and dangerous. The Darkhold may have amplified it, but she made the choices. No more ambiguity, she's the antagonist. She ends the movie buried under rubble, possibly dead, but who knows. What's clear is that Wanda crossed a line, and the MCU made it count. Her villain arc is official. Mephisto exists in the MCU. After years of fans turning every blurry reflection into a Mephisto theory, the devil finally showed up. His name was first dropped in Agatha All Along in 2024, locking him into MCU continuity. Then, Ironheart brought him to the screen, played by Sacha Baron Cohen, ending the longest "he's definitely showing up this week" era in MCU history. He's no longer a rumor, he's canon. What's still unclear is how deep they'll go with him. We don't know if he's the next Thanos-level threat or just lurking in the background with smoke and contracts. The comics gave him a reputation for soul-stealing and shady deals, and now that magic's a growing corner of the MCU, he fits right in. Whether he targets heroes, messes with the multiverse, or offers someone a really bad wish, he's now officially on the board. Mephisto is real. In the MCU, just got a lot more dangerous. Jake Lockley appears. Throughout Moon Knight, there are blackouts, unexplained violence, and a locked sarcophagus just sitting there like a Chekhov's mystery box. Then the post-credits scene drops the act. Jake Lockley exists, and he's not here to make friends. He shows up driving a limo, speaking Spanish, and shooting a villain in the face like it's another Tuesday. That confirms Jake as Mark and Steven's third alter. One neither of them seem aware of. He's canon, he's lethal, and he's working with Khonshu behind their backs. Unlike Steven's awkward charm or Mark's tortured soldier persona, Jake's all business and zero hesitation. His reveal opens the door for darker, grittier future stories where Moon Knight is out of control. The MCU dropped him in hard at the end, leaving big questions. Who else has he taken out? How long has he been active? One thing's clear, the third personality's not hiding anymore. Doctor Strange's debut. Before he ever opened a portal, Stephen Strange got a name drop in the Winter Soldier, tossed casually into a Hydra hit list like, oh, by the way, this guy might break reality someday. 2 years later, in 2016's Doctor Strange, he finally showed up for real. Once an arrogant neurosurgeon, Strange crashes his car and his career, then ends up in Kamartaj begging for healing and instead unlocking a dimension-shredding magic upgrade. His film introduced the mystic arts, astral projection, mirror dimensions, and just casually rewrote how the MCU understands reality. It wasn't aliens or tech anymore, it was sorcery. His debut expanded the MCU into magic, multiverses, and metaphysics. That shift made future insanity like the multiverse saga possible. Since then, Strange has become a key player in stories involving cosmic threats, reality warping, and timelines breaking like cheap glass. His debut cracked open the MCU and let in the weird stuff. Hydra infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. The theory that Hydra quietly rebuilt itself inside S.H.I.E.L.D. turned out to be spot on. After World War II, Hydra's top scientist Ara Nim Zola was recruited into S.H.I.E.L.D.'s early formation, giving him the perfect opportunity to rot it from the inside. He planted agents, created sleeper cells, and helped shape S.H.I.E.L.D.'s structure into a facade for Hydra's hidden agenda. Fans guessed this long before the Winter Soldier dropped the bomb, and they were right. In that movie, Zola's digital consciousness spilled the truth. Hydra had hijacked S.H.I.E.L.D.'s mission using Project Insight, a plan to eliminate threats before they acted. The fallout was huge. S.H.I.E.L.D. crumbled, trust collapsed, and Hydra operatives were outed across the globe. The twist reshaped everything, dragging the MCU into murkier waters. Security agencies lost credibility, and the heroes had to rebuild alliances from scratch. Even after exposure, Hydra's tendrils kept wriggling through storylines, creating tension, betrayal, and chaos that still echoes through the universe. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here. I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.